Here's a story that happened a year ago. Just before, a little context. Hear weird noises in my house since I was a kid. During my childhood, was woken up almost every night by the noises. Told my parents about it, that I was shitless scared, but they always told me that they didn't hear shit. Noises became less frequent when I grew up, and almost disappeared when I was a teen. Had an ex that was into paranormal shit, and she also heard those noises, even saw a human-shaped shadow in my bedroom. Meet a girl in uni, talks quickly about paranormal. Hey, my dad is a Reiki master and he can senses ghosts, do you want his number? Thought it was bullshit, but sure, why not? 2 weeks passes, don't call him, have peaceful nights. Now the good part. Sunday night, go to sleep. Start to hear the usual noises, wood crackling, someone hitting a wall, someone hitting my desk, my screens. Suddenly I hear something dragging their feet next to me. First, thought it was my parents that were going to bed, but there was no light in the corridor. Get really scared and don't move an inch. Hear a really loud thud in my garage, then like if someone was dragging a concrete block on the floor. I have some concrete blocks in my garage. All the usual noises intensifies, hear the crackling and hitting noises really hard. Fucking scared out of my mind, get up and go in my living room. Both of my parents are on the couch, chilling. Ask if they didn't hear what happened in the garage. No, Anon, what do you mean? There is someone down there, I'm sure of it. Mom goes in the garage, nothing moved, nothing is out of the ordinary. Try to go to bed and sleep next day. Instantly call the Reiki master. Have a really long call explaining everything that happened. Tells me that my village suffered from World War II, that the vacant house next to me is filled with ghosts. Doesn't believe it at first, but I'm shocked he knows all this. This is genuine and my village is fairly unknown. The house next to me was used in World War II to build weapons and is fairly destroyed. Nobody lives in it and the hotel in my village uses it as a garbage bin. Proceed to tell me that the noises that I hear are ghosts coming in my home and back into this World War II house. Proceed to tell me that it's normal that I hear a lot of noises at my desk because there is a chimney. A chimney, according to him, is something that ghosts can use to get out of the physical realm, and that it's very heavy in the physical realm. Explains to me that's why I feel weird in my room and I feel heavy in my house. Tells me that a lot of ghosts goes through this chimney to get out of this realm. Ask me to take pictures of my room. Tell me to put white candles in GTFO for at least 1 hour. Tell me to call him after 1 hour. I wait in my living room, kinda anxious. Call him 1 hour later. Yeah, it's done, you can go in your room. You won't feel any change right now, but I think you'll have a good night. Maybe you'll feel something in like 3 days. Have the first night of my life in my home where I hear literally zero noise or sound. Wake up happy that the night was so sweet, feel a little bit lighter. Feel something grabbing my ankles as I get out of my room. Freak out a bit, but thinks that my mind playing tricks. Call the Reiki master in the evening, tell him that I feel lighter and shit. Tell me that what I felt grabbing my ankles is my dead brother. At this point I'm fucking flabbergasted since I never talked about my twin brother, who died at birth. Tells me that he suffers in this physical realm, that he needs to go out in the spiritual world, but that he can sense my mother and I are keeping him down here because we think about him a lot. Tell me to put candles in my room, and talk like if I was talking to my brother, to tell everything I think about him, and that he has to go. Do it, feel kinda lightheaded and almost fall 10 minutes into the talking. Suddenly feel okay again, ever lighter than before. Calls me back. Explains that he was channeling a beam, my brother came and they talked, that he was really scared but after some convincing he went through the beam and went into the spiritual realm. Feel relieved and weirdly happy. Don't hear any noise, never feel randomly heavy since then. This man changed my life and I have a few stories with him. I was really skeptic of his bullshit at the beginning, but the results got me hooked into the paranormal world. Since he's a Reiki master, he can teach it to others, and I wanted to become one of his students. A year after I became an initiate, and I still talk to him now. Can share all the weird shit that happened to me with him too if you want. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the first time I came at his home in my initiation. Drives for 1 hour and arrives at a small village in the mountains, pretty good view. Ring and I can finally put a face on the voice in the phone. Pretty chill dude, white hair, seems quite old but he's 35. Works in construction site, really humble and quite a low-class worker. Enters in a house that is full of clutter, a lot of little trinkets related to paranormal. Home feels really light and peaceful. I'm not even stressed. It's weird for me because I'm a really anxious person. Was in my old metal clothes back then, wore a pentagram necklace that I bought with my ex, and 2 rings. One was a huge eye, that I bought to make my ex happy. Talk and chill in the living room, suddenly feel kinda hot and shaky. Don't think much about it since it happens often, anxiety. My rings start to burn me and I feel really weird. Remove them and remove my necklace too. Ask Seth, which is what we'll call the Reiki master, about what the fuck just happened. Shake even more during my question, then suddenly it stops. Looks at me with a serious face, but not concerned or scared. I don't know if I can tell you this. It's not really serious or anything, but we're gonna have to do something. No worries if you can tell me what's happening, I feel safe here. You're possessed, and if you feel shaky and hot it's the spirit that is reacting to the brightness here. I don't really know if that's the good word since I'm not English. But he told me that some spirits are dark, and since he works in the Reiki and do rituals in his house and himself is white and bright and that the dark spirits don't feel good in this kind of atmosphere. Proceed to go in his room where he does rituals. Makes me sit in a chair, ask me random questions about my life. Tells me to close my eyes. Feels him going behind me, feels his hands hovering over my shoulders. Tells me to open my eyes and watch his hand. One hand at my right is 2 to 3 centimeters away from me, and the one at my left is 4 to 5 centimeters. Tells me that my aura is not in balance and that he'll balance it. Close my eyes, hear him doing weird shit with his breathing. Tell me to open my eyes, get up and walk. Just for a little context, I was born at 6 months and I have some damage from it. I have a spasticity and I have trouble walking on my right heel. It got better after my surgery but I sometimes walk on my toes, and I don't have much muscle in this leg. I always walk with more weight on my left leg. Proceed to walk like I never had a problem in my life, is absolutely shocked that I walk with the same balance on my legs. Burst in joy, tells me that it's not over. Makes me sit on his massage table that is next to his bookcase. Before I sit, he pushes it a few inches away from the bookcase and gets behind me. Tells me to put my hands like I was T-posing, raise my arms up and down and describe what I feel. Arms feel heavy and it hurts, as usual, it's pretty normal. Tell me to close my eyes. Feel the same shit as before, hands hovering and weird breathing. Suddenly I hear him take a big step back like he dodged something. Tell me to open my eyes and do the same thing as before. My arms feel super light and I legit raise them up and down for 5 minutes, not getting hurt or tired in the slightest. End of the session for the day. He didn't do shit about my possession. Getting kinda tired now and I don't know if someone's still reading this. Anybody wanna read how my exorcism went and how my initiation went? Well, if you wanna see if they're frauds or not, ask them to see their certificate. Pick related. There are 4 certificates. 1 for each degrees. The first one to the third is for students, and is about your health. The last one, 4th, is the master degree and allows you to teach and actually use it to heal other. You can also heal others with your first degree but it's not really recommended. The thing that makes the certificate valid is the huge yellow thing in the bottom right. In real life it's shiny and it is only given by a Reiki foundation. I'm gonna write my exorcism and shit now. How my exorcism went with F. Proceed to go in his room. Asks me a lot of questions about my ex, my psychological state. My ex was really toxic and meddled with black magic, Ouija and pendulums. She made me try some pendulums and I've done some weird shit with it because of her. Suddenly feels really bad and feel a pressure on my right shoulder. Tells me that it's because the spirit of my ex is in the room and watching us talk. She's asking F to put an end to our bond, because I was really attached to her even if she raped and cheated on me. Felt tears coming up but didn't cry. Made me lay down on his massage table and warned me that he's gonna read a passage from his book, that it's gonna be at least 15 minutes long, that I just gotta close my eyes and focus on his sayings, no matter what happens. Starts reading his exorcism thingy thing and I feel normal. After a while I start getting pretty hot and I feel my legs kinda shaking a bit. Suddenly my hands closes and they form a fist. Kinda feel anger coming up, start to feel annoyed and angry. Legs shaking more and more, the shaking is starting to go in my hands and my arms too. I'm not having a seizure but it's like when you are stretching out too strong. After a while, feel tears coming up, wanna cry real hard but keep the feelings in. F is still reading his exorcism book. He is saying the last lines, amen and shit. Suddenly everything stops. Feel really heavy and hot, but no more shaking. He comes towards me, tell me to open my eyes and chill. I explain a bit what happened, I try to get up. Don't manage to, I feel nailed into the table. Tells me to not worry, it's because my body is tired. 5 minutes later I'm able to get up, I get off the table. We talk a bit and I'm really thirsty so we go down. Have a lot of trouble going down the stairs, drink a lot. Feels weird, but kinda better than before. Weeks comes by, feel less and less attached to my ex and today I feel nothing towards her anymore. F explained to me later that the thing that I had in me was a low spirit that latched onto me when I used my pendulum. It wasn't a danger because it had a really low status. Now, let's talk about my initiations. I waited a long time for it. He made me wait more than a year because he needed another student and also because it was his first initiation. Initiations never do in pairs, it's at least with 3 people. Come at his house, meet a 25-ish-year-old girl. F tells me that she already got her first degree but she didn't do anything with it and wanted to have a refresher. We go up in his room, talks a lot about Reiki and start doing the Reiki circle. We put our hands palm side up and we put them close to each other's hands. F starts doing some weird shit with his breathing, seems focused. Suddenly feel a wind coming from my right, only feeling it in my palms. Wind is kinda warm, suddenly changes directions and goes to the left. Wind stops and I feel something in my hands, there's nothing. Goes cold, then hot again. Tells us to put our hand down. Oh, which is what we'll call the girl, and I are kinda shocked. We felt the same thing and it was weird. F kept talking about Reiki, taught us some shit. Made us learn auto treatments and how to do a treatment for the other. O gave me a treatment and I gave one to her. For the treatment, O had to lay down, keep her eyes closed and I gotta put my hands over her at key points during 2 to 3 minutes. I gotta focus, close my eyes and just basically wait on the key point then go on another. I can put my hands on her body or make them hover her, that depends on her, not on me. O tells me that I can touch her, it's okay. Put my hands at key points, follow the instructions of F. Don't know what I'm doing but it's weird touching the body of a girl who's 7 years older than me, and that I just met. At some point I feel my hand getting real hot, think nothing of it. 40 minutes later it's over, she opens her eyes. Tells me that she is shocked, that it felt like I did that all my life and that I was really good at it. She felt that my hands were burning hot and that it felt really good, her neck hurt but it stopped. Tells me that I'm basically gifted. The day keeps going, learning shit. At the end of the day, the last thing to do is that we have to get our canal opened. F takes O in a private room, I'm alone and I wait. O comes back, it's my turn. F makes me sit on a chair, comes behind me. Close my eyes, I sense he's doing really huge movements behind me, really focused. Feels he's breathing on me, kinda feels weird. After a while tells me that it's over, I open my eyes. He's in front of me, looking really proud and happy. I get up and I thank him a lot about this day and his teaching, that everything that he done to me was really good. We hug, I feel like a son to him and I felt some genuine fatherly love. Feel loved and appreciated. Almost cried, not gonna lie, F had a tear in his eye too. F tells me that my canal is now opened, that I have a constant flux of Reiki coming in and out of me, and even if I never use Reiki again, this canal will always be opened and I can use it to ask things to the universe. Tells me that since the canal gives me a Reiki flux, I'm constantly connected with the universe and the Reiki energy. I can ask questions to the universe when I want, how I want, and that I'll maybe get answers or maybe they'll make shit happen. Get back home, feels really good, and I noticed that I walked normally for at least 3 days straight. I was curious about this whole questioning the universe thingy and I asked some things to it. I tried to make it give me a GF, hasn't happened yet, but I've tried to make it do more simple things and it happened in the few days after my questions. For example, a few months ago I was in a bad shape and I badly needed advices from F. I'm used to sending him a message in times of needs, but this time I didn't want to bother him. But one night I felt really bad and I asked to the universe that F calls me to help me, because I felt like shit and I needed him. A few days later, he called me randomly. And he never, ever does that. He only calls me when I ask him through message. I asked a few other things to the universe and I felt like it worked most of the time. Example, I'm really anxious and the day before something big for me, I asked the universe to help me for the coming day, to make me less anxious and more in control, and usually the days goes fine and I'm feeling quite happy. I've tried to go through some big events without asking and I always felt really anxious. With asking it always went like a charm.